Welcome everyone to another edition of the Mayor's Wellness Campaign Chair Yoga. I am Christina Chismar. I'm the Recreation Clerk as well as the Administrative Assistant for the Borough. Today we're going to be focusing on a little more of standing postures. I know we've done them before, just trying a different couple little takes, playing with squats, all that fun stuff. So as usual, make sure you've spoken to a doctor or somebody before you start any kind of exercises. Loose fitting clothing. Always have my water handy. We'll get started. We're going to have an active spine to start. We're not going to get into like hands and everything else, shoulders, because we are going to be focusing more on our legs. So eyes closed if you'd like. Hands on your thighs, palms up for receiving energy, palms down for grounding, just depending on how you're feeling at this time of the day. Nice straight spine. Don't collapse back into your chair. Keeping everything nice and active. Just paying attention to where your body is on your sits bones, making sure that your knees are hip width apart, not next to each other. Retraining our brain to keep our legs separated just enough. And as you're breathing in, making sure that you're breathing, taking a nice big inhale, letting that air fill up your diaphragm, fill up your belly, and on your exhale, pressing everything back in. Inhaling, exhale, inhale, and exhale. Just doing it at your own pace. If you'd like to, you always try doing the square breath, which is taking a big inhale to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhaling nice and slow for 3, 2, 1. Holding at the bottom. 4, 3, 2, 1. Whichever way feels more comfortable. If that gets you a little lightheaded, don't worry about it. Just as long as you're paying attention to your breathing, it naturally slows itself down. The whole point of breathing exercises. Pranayama, which is another branch of yoga, focuses on the breath. The asanas, which is the branch we work on, that is the smallest branch of all 8 of them. So, a little lesson there for you. Getting into our little warm-ups and making some hip circles, putting your hands on your thighs or on the side of the chair, wherever feels good. Going back and forth, rolling around, or if you'd like to, you can just go up and back and forth. I like to do the rolling and then encouraging the other way. But we're just playing around here, whatever feels good to you, keeping those sits bones grounded. You're working into your sides by doing this, working into those hips, working into that little where your body would curve in that little hourglass, I guess. Sure, that sounds good. Why not? We'll go with that. Pausing at the top, reversing your circles, staying seated, letting your spine do all the work, letting that back open itself up. I love doing this when I sit for too long because for some reason my left side or my right side, depends on what day of the week it is, one side always feels like it's just cramped up. So doing this exercise just helps loosen that up. I always forget which side, kidney, spleen. I don't know. I need to up my anatomy, I'm sorry. Coming back into center. If you went on one side, maybe wiggling on the other side. Whatever feels good. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, folding over your bent knees. Inhale, lift up. Shine that heart. Exhale, roll it down. Inhale, lifting all the way, bringing your legs with you. Yes, I'm not wearing shoes or socks. And releasing everything back down. Coming to the edge of your chair a little bit more. Bringing your toes up to touch. Or sorry, heels up to touch, toes up. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, fold it down. Letting it go. And coming all the way back up. Like I told you, we're going to be doing squats. I'm going to be doing 5 squats and then 5 of those dips we did the other day. Just because It feels good and it's just activating different muscles. So it's up to you. If you want to, you can always just do a whole 10 squats or a whole 10 dips. Completely your prerogative. But whatever you're doing, coming with me for squats, making sure that the chair is close enough so in case you lose your balance, you can always fall back. And when you're ready, exhale, coming all the way down, making sure your knees are not going over your toes. You'll feel it in your shin splints. Make it as far as you can almost to the chair, lifting on up for 5. Lower down for 4. Coming back down for 3. Doing it as slow as you'd like. All the way down for 2, excuse me. Last one. And up. Coming with me to do our little dips. Turning the chair just so you can see. Grabbing the side of the chair. Holding it on either end. Walking yourself out. Making yourself into like a little table. Trying to keep your arms as straight as they can go. Making sure you're even. If you start going to the side, that's not going to do you any benefit. So taking your time to get there. Once again, my knees are separated. Lowering yourself down. Back stays nice and straight. 5. Going down for 4. 3. 2. 1. Back stays straight. Coming back onto your chair. Inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, come back down. Oh. I like doing that position because it works into your thighs as well. And also gives you a little more support. And also activates different things. Worst case is you don't do it. Back of the chair. Don't forget, your chair is always here for your support. I'm going to move mine over to the side just so you can see me a little better. Starting with, I'm not going to try to mirror you. Starting with your right foot. Lifting up those toes. And rooting down all 4 corners of your feet, keeping your toes up if possible. That's why I like to wear no shoes. Start fanning them down. Enough to lift the left leg up behind you, coming into your flamingo. Ooh, I need the chair. It's fun. Tomorrow I could do this probably standing on my head. Today I'm not doing it like that. Staying here if it feels good. If you could only just lift your foot up, that's all that really matters. You're activating, putting your weight into one side, learning your balance, and rooting into all 4 corners of your feet. Over time, I've been told, especially if you have a flat feet, by rooting into all 4 corners and making sure you're not squeezing into those toes, it helps get into the natural arch of your foot. If this wants to go a little farther, you can always come into your dancer pose, which mine is horrible. So pressing your foot back. And if you want to, come leaning forward onto the chair, that would be facing you. Those extend out if you have it, or stay on the chair if you don't. It's not a contest, it's just playing around. Coming back into center, wiggle it out, do whatever feels good, getting into your other foot. So left foot roots down, lifting up those toes, rooting into all 4 corners of your feet. Good. And lowering it down. As you're lowering down, you're rooting down. Left to lift your right foot back behind you. Once again, if it only goes a little bit, awesome. If it goes all the way, congratulations if you can grab it. If you can grab it, so once again, we're holding here. We want to make sure each side is even. So you don't want to hold for 5 minutes on one side because I'm talking. And then on the other side, it's like, oh, rush through it. It'll make you uneven. One time when I was teaching kids yoga, I mentioned that to them, and then they were joking around going, I can't walk funny. Like, I know. Elementary school kids are fun. Pressing your foot back. It feels good and you've got it. Trying it out. If you did it on this side, try it on the other side. Try lifting your hand forward. Finding that drishti gaze, that unmoving point in front of you, that is going to be what helps you stay put. Also, as you're doing this, you're squeezing in your torso. You're holding in your core, almost like you're holding in a corset. That's going to help you get the lift as well because you're not as floppy. Your whole body is activated when you're in standing postures. It's kind of fun. Mine's horrible, I know. Lowering it back down. Wiggle it out. Playing around with tree. Doing right foot again because it's always fun to start on your right. Rooting into all 4 corners once again. Enough to lift your left foot up, whether it be a kickstand, onto the calf, skipping that knee, coming on to your thigh. Once again, great move osteoporosis wise because you're putting your weight up upon it and pressing in. That's how you're able to press up. You're becoming, I always think of redwood trees. They don't rise up by thinking they're small. When you're small, you wiggle and get out of this pose. When you start to feel wiggly, when you have the chair, you straighten yourself up. Once again, keeping that spine as straight as possible, keeping your back as straight as possible, looking forward for that drishti gaze. The feet rise with you. Don't pay attention so much to your legs. You have the roots. If you ever look at a root system, they don't all go straight down. They spread themselves out. So having in this case, my left leg up, it's almost like it's getting into the main roots to extend itself out. If you think of it as that root system, not as actually there because it's crossing over many things. Growing new branches if you have not done so and you want to play. Looking at the crazy lady on the show. Hands back down, hand on the chair. Once again, we're going to play around. If this is too much, you don't have to do it. I'm going to go a little sideways here. Taking your left leg, left foot, crossing it over your right, making a figure 4. Like we do in pigeon. Flexing that foot. See how, okay, watch this. The foot's floppy, start sliding down. Flexed. Because it's engaging. That's why if you're in pigeon and you have the entire front leg straight, you want to keep that foot flexed. It protects your knee, protects everything. If this is awesome and you've got it and you're done, cool. Otherwise, if you want to play around a little bit, start trying to have a seat. It's a funky chair. This chair is not funky. This chair is funky. Sit it down. Once again, if you feel ambitious, just the gaze, taking away your support. If it's too much, doesn't matter. This is where the work is being done. It's a bit intense. Another thing when you do chair, and I'm always anal about it because I always do it. Once again, you're trying to, same thing with the squats, you're trying to keep your toes in front of your knee. I could tell my knee was getting in front of my toes because I'm getting out of it slowly, but surely getting out of it. This little spot here, the front of your ankle, I was feeling pressure, the skin coming down onto it. So noticing those little, paying attention to those little quirks of your body, you'll know to self-adjust. Getting into the other side, starting with our tree. Rooting into all 4 corners of your foot, toes up. Lowering those down enough to lift the right foot up for the kickstand, calf, or the thigh. Pressing it in. I like the thigh one because my pants are letting me do it this today, and also because I have so much more space here. Once again, it's playing around. This could be too much on your knee, in which case you lower it down. You could have those pants are just too swippery, or you could have not had enough water today. One of the girls we worked with, she always made a point to have one of our other employees before she retired. She had to drink her water. Had to drink her water at all times. Did you drink water today? Big gallon ones. But pressing it in, enjoying this lift. If you got the momentum, you want to try on the other side, grow those branches. Noticing if you're wobbly on one side versus the other side. That's what's cool about yoga. The idea is to eventually get yourself completely straightened so you can almost like fold yourself in. This is your midline. Folding yourself in, making yourself as, I don't want to say it like this, but making yourself into as perfect a being as you are. Because you are. But, you know, the only way you're going to be completely stable on both sides is if you go be a monk in Nepal or something. It's the only place I can think of right now. Same as before. Slow, 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 slow. Figure 4. Flexing that foot. My toes naturally always want to engage. This is good. Awesome. If you want to take it a little more, lower yourself down. Finding that seat. That's why it's fun to have the chair. Just try not to put all your strength and put everything into the chair because then you go, oh. I'm not responsible for that. If I do that to me, I'm so sorry, because that would be funny. Just lowering yourself down, finding that happy spot, making sure once again you're paying attention to the little crease on that foot, the front crease. Once again, if you've got it, you try on the other side. Funky chairs. Chairs, either people love them or hate them. Another term for chair, which I'll get into a traditional chair pose, not a funky one. We've done that before. It's also known as fierce pose. My opinion is because things come out of you. A lot of people don't like it. Oh, I played enough here. Lift it back up, releasing it. Oh, fierce pose in yoga, just like doing a squat. Knees together or hip width apart. It engages all the glute muscles, the hamstrings, everything. But people can get annoyed with it because you hold it. So imagine holding this. And you want to be careful because if you start pushing your booty out too much, you start feeling into your lower back. So you want to make sure everything's in. Knees are not going over your toes. That's why I always like to lift mine. And then you stay here, arms up. Do a couple more and then we're almost done here. Getting into lunges. I love lunges. I think they're very important for us to practice on them. So, once again, using the side of your chair, coming out here, bring my right foot forward first. The objective is to get to the Instagram photo. I'm kidding. The objective eventually, or never, depending on you, is to get to your knee to a complete 90-degree angle. I don't care if you can't, as long as you don't have your knee going over your ankle. That's where it is. Eventually, you can get to the 90. Or, what is this, like 120? More than 90. Keeping the back heel up. You're at your 90 degrees, or no, you got your knee bent. That's all that matters. Doesn't matter how degree it is. Back leg is as straight as you can make it. Because the heel's up, you're on your toes. Staying here if this is good. Dropping your back knee. And lift. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten it back up. Playing around here. This might be too much. Lower your knee all the way down. Untuck those toes. Anjaneyasana. It's a version of a low lunge. Pressing through this space that you've created. Gets into your hamstrings, the front of your thighs, back of your thighs, everything. Arms can go up if they like. Stay on the chair. Because the trick is, you got to get back out of it. So, options, fall out of it, get up. More yogic, put yourself down, tuck those toes, lift that knee. Good job. Switch. This time, left knee in front. Going into that 90, setting yourself up, seeing if maybe you can get a little deeper. Like my hamstring, and I think it must be my SI at this point, is always acting up, so this is a little harder. Plus, apparently my pants are not very conducive for this. Once again, as long as you get your knee over your ankle, straighten that back leg. Don't care if you get to 90 or not. Chair is there for support. Stare at the crazy lady on the screen, up to you. Find that happy spot. When you're ready, bend and down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Once again, it's always about how you're straightening yourself out. I don't care if it takes you double the time to do all that, as long as you're not rushing, because when you rush, you get sloppy, you get hurt. Slow and steady. Lowering knee all the way down this side, untucking those toes, pressing in. The only time that I actually don't mind if it's knees in front, because I'm more worried about that back knee. When I first started doing this, I was right on my knee. I think there's a little piece of bone in there that I can feel every once in a while. As you press forward, you start getting onto the top of your knee. That's the trick to it, because then you're putting the pressure off of your knee. Playing around again if you'd like. Or don't, up to you. I like how this feels. This is my favorite move when I was pregnant with my son. Tuck those toes, lift it back up. Oh, Feels good. Wiggle it out. Do whatever feels nice. And then come have seats. Like I said, just playing around with some moves. So, any leftover moves you want to try. If you want to go to a different video, go for it. Do whatever makes you happy. But until then, let's just take a moment to give our bodies time to adjust to everything that happened, everything that didn't happen. Coming into our seated Savasana. Eyes closed if you like. Letting go of your breath. Hands on your thighs, on your sides, whatever feels good to you. Leaning against your chair. Letting your breath go, letting your breath catch up if you are out of breath. Staying here as long as you'd like, as long as you need to. But until next time, the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.